This is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It comes in 3 different flavors: Monster, Spell, and Trap. Trap cards come in 3 different types: Normal, Continuous, and Counter. You can identify which is which via the symbol that appears here. Normal trap cards must be set face down on the field in the spell and trap zone for 1 whole turn before they can be activated. Once their effect has been used, they are sent to the graveyard. Continuous traps, when activated, remain face up on the field, and their effects can be used continuously until they are removed from the field by an effect. Counter trap cards possess a trait unique only to them called Spell Speed 3. Spell Speed refers to how fast a card's effect resolves after its activation. There are 3 speeds: Spell Speed 1, Spell Speed 2, and Spell Speed 3. Counter trap cards being the fastest cards in the game. As a result, they cannot be chained to, the only exception being by another counter trap card. Also, being Spell Speed 3, counter trap cards can be activated in the damage step, something no other spell speed can do. Well, apart from all of these exceptions. Spell cards come in 6 types: Normal, Quick Play, Continuous, Equip, Ritual, and Field. These 2 are identifiable via the symbols here. Normal spell cards are Spell Speed 1. As such, they can be activated any time during your main phase 1 or 2, and upon activation, their effect will occur, and then they are sent to the graveyard. Quick Play spells possess the Speed Spell 2 trait. This means that they can be activated anytime during your turn, including outside of your main phases, and also in response to your opponent's moves and effects. Not only that, but you can set them face down, and after your turn has ended, they can be used during your opponent's turn too. Continuous spells, when activated, remain face up on the field after activation, and remain there until removed via an effect. Equip spells, when activated, equip onto any monster on the field. The effect will usually benefit only the monster is equipped to. This also means if the monster is sent to the graveyard, the equipped spell will go with it. Ritual spells are used in conjunction with a ritual monster as the method to summon it to the field. The ritual spell will be activated, and then the cost stated on the card will be paid. The ritual monster will then be summoned, and the spell will go to the grave. A field spell, when activated, will be placed in the field zone, and will remain there until removed via an effect. Field spells typically affect both sides of the field, meaning your opponent can both benefit and be hindered by the effects of the field spell card. Monster cards are the most complex, as they come in a lot of different types, subtypes, and subtypes. The things nearly all monsters share are that they possess one of the 25 typings and one of the 7 attributes. This can be in almost any combination. Attributes and types are mainly used as a way to determine their eligibility for certain cards to benefit, search, or hinder them. For instance, Reinforcements of the Army can only search warrior-type monsters, and Overload Fusion can only summon a dark-attributed machine-type monster. Monsters also always have unique names to identify them: attack points that determine the monster's power whilst in the attack position, defense points that determine the monster's power while in the defense position, and finally a level, indicated by the amount of stars they have. The level is deterministic of how powerful a monster is, and as a result, depending on the amount of stars they have, how many monsters need to be sacrificed in order for it to be summoned. 1 to 4 stars means no sacrifice. 5 to 6 stars means 1 sacrifice is required. 7 stars and above equals 2 sacrifices required for the summon of that monster. With that out of the way, monster cards come in 8 different types: Normal, Effect, Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Link. Normal monsters have no unique characteristics. Effect monsters possess an effect, detailed in their description box. Ritual monsters can only be special summoned, and this can only be done through a ritual spell card that they are paired with. Fusion monsters are an extra deck monster, meaning they reside in the extra deck. Fusion monsters to be summoned will state what monsters need to be combined together in order to be brought out. The spell card Polymerization is required for this process. Synchro monsters are also an extra deck monster. However, to summon them, a subtype of monster is required, called a tuner monster. Tuners are identifiable here. To summon the synchro monster, you will need the tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters on the field whose total levels combined match exactly to the level of the synchro monster. This will result in a synchro summon. Xyz monsters are also an extra deck monster. To summon them, 2 or more monsters need to be on the field with identical levels to the rank of the Xyz monster. FYI, Xyz monsters' levels are called ranks instead. When the summon occurs, the monsters are placed on top of each other along with the Xyz monster. The monsters underneath are now called Xyz materials and are removed as the cost for using the Xyz monster's effects. Pendulum monsters reside in the main deck and can be either a monster or a spell card. What determines this is whether you choose to summon them as a monster or activate them in their exclusive pendulum zones. If a pendulum monster is sent to the graveyard from the field, it instead goes face up to the extra monster zone. Not only that, but pendulum monsters have a unique way of summoning. When 2 pendulum monsters are in the pendulum zones, you can perform a pendulum summon during your main phase. This allows the user to special summon multiple monsters with levels between those scales from the hand. Also, if you have any pendulum monsters in your extra deck, you can also summon those exclusively to the extra monster zone. Not only that, but pendulum monsters also have some variants. They can come in normal spell, effect spell, fusion spell, synchro spell, and Xyz spell. The latter 3, however, must reside in the extra deck. Finally, there is Link Monster that resides in the extra deck. These cards have no level and no defense value. They are summoned by sending to the grave from your field a number of monsters equal to its link level, and that also match its summoning criteria. They can only be summoned to the extra monster zone, or a zone that a link monster's arrows point to. Also, link monsters themselves can be used as materials for their summon. Their link level will determine how many materials they will be worth. A unique trait to the link monsters is that due to their lack of defense points, they are incapable of being placed in the defense position under any circumstances. And, last but not least, on top of all of these, monsters can also come in one of 5 subtype classifications known as abilities. These are Gemini, Union, Spirit, Tune, and Flip. Gemini monsters are treated as normal monsters on the field and in the graveyard, and can gain their effects by performing an additional normal summon on them while they are face up on the field. Union monsters have an effect that allows them to equip itself to a monster as an equipped spell card, or unequip itself to special summon it to the monster zone. Spirit monsters are effect monsters that have the effect to return it to its owner's hand during the end phase of the turn it is summoned. Toon monsters have the ability that if the player controls Toon World and the opponent doesn't control any Toon monsters, it can attack directly. Flip monsters have the ability that when they are flipped up, or if they are summoned by flipping them face up, they will trigger their effect. Oh, and there's also tokens, but they're just sort of placeholder cards, so yeah. Keep in mind, in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a lot of variations and deviances to what I have stated up here. For example, there are fusion monsters that don't need polymerization. The game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very complex, but I hope this video helped to solve any issues you might have had. If you would like to learn a little bit more about summoning, rarities, or the Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules in general, then I have some other videos you might enjoy similar to this one. But other than that, thank you all for watching and catch you later.